what's up, y'all? This is Carlton Cullins here in South Austin, Texas, and welcome to the Blue Sky Strongbox. Welcome to 2018. Happy New Year. It's a brand new year. Many of you out there may have some health and fitness goals that you're thinking about starting soon. For some of you, it may have been days, weeks, months, maybe even years, maybe even a decade or two since you've done any kind of exercise, since you've done anything. So my best advice for you is to start out slow. So I'm going to give you some ideas today, and I'm also going to give you some ideas. So if some of you may still be traveling, I've got a little bit of traveling still to do. So this is stuff that I'm going to do that I can do anywhere, anytime, and it doesn't take any equipment. But the point is, you need to start getting your body ready for more stuff to come ahead. You want to start off slow. If you start too fast, you may get discouraged, you may get hurt, and that halts all progress, right? So keep it short and simple. First things to concentrate on. If you care at all about your health, you want to make sure to start drinking water every single day. Focus on drinking water. Focus on trying to walk 10 to 30 minutes of just walking every single day. You could walk to lunch. You could walk anywhere, but walking, very important. And then finally, focus on trying to get a good night's sleep every single night. You should not be waking up feeling exhausted every day. If you are, then you need to work on that. So water, daily walks, and sleep. The next piece of advice, when people ask me about nutrition, nutrition is it's a complicated subject. The best thing I would say is try to eat more vegetables, eat more fruit, drink more water, and eat and drink less of everything else. I'm not telling you anything else that's good or bad. I'm just saying, just do that. Look at each meal that you eat and see how you can make it better with some more vegetables, some more fruit, and more water. And I guarantee you, in time, things will be much more simple and much better. Moving on to exercise. When it comes to exercise, you do want to start off really, really slow. I'm going to give you a body weight flows. You don't need any equipment. You just need a little bit of space. You could do this when you're traveling. I'm going to recommend my clients when I'm out of town a lot of times to do this kind of stuff. You could do this stuff for rounds and rounds and repeat it over and over for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I wouldn't go typically more than 30 minutes. I just don't see any reason to do that. But anyway, let's start off with a few things. Really importantly, I like to start each day off by getting on my hands and knees and doing what they call cat-cows. So you're basically going to look up here, and then you're going to look down here and make your back go up like that. You want to go slow. You don't want to push up too high and too low. Just go what's comfortable. And the most important aspect of this is to breathe. I typically like to breathe in when I'm looking up and breathe out when my back goes up, so when I look down. So I basically try to bring my neck up, and I try to touch my chin to my chest. I usually do 10 of those slow, concentrating on my breathing. The next thing I want to recommend is getting down into what I call split squat position. So you're on your toes in the back, and you're going to try to come up here. Even. Nice and slow, touch your knee to the ground. If that hurts, like I said, I carry with me when I travel a little camping towel. It looks like this. You can fold it out really fast. It fits in your luggage easily. But if you need a place on the ground that's kind of dirty, you could always throw that down. So you could use that. You could also pad your knee with it. There's lots of things you can do with it, but that's another option. But I like to move into split squats to get the legs moving. So obviously if you do one on one side, you're going to do another round on this side. I usually do about 10 on each side. Another option, if that's really easy for you, is to do a standing position, step back, touch your knee to the ground, bring the other knee to the ground, step back up. So I use the same leg to step back with, same leg to step up with. I'll do 10 on one side, and then I'll change the other leg. I'll go to the left leg, back, step up, and I'll do around 10 on each side. Moving to something else, I usually like to move into what I call walkouts. You're going to walk all the way down to the ground, flat, push up carefully, stretch the back out, push up here. And I usually like to walk up slowly like that. Come all the way up, take a deep breath, repeat that. If you want to add push-ups to the bottom, if you're strong enough to do that, you can. I usually do about 10 of all these things that I'm showing you. So the next thing I would do is I would come here. You could put your hands together, and you could work on doing single leg deadlifts. If you want, you could stand on, say, your left leg, use your right arm, and you could go down here and touch your toe and come back up. These are pretty difficult. You want to go slow. I usually try to do 10 on each side. One side may be harder than the other. Do some kind of variation that you can do. Do those slowly, breathe deeply, move on to the next exercise. The next thing I like to do is a thing I call the frog push. Let me see if I can show you in this video. But I squat down, I put my hands between my feet. Actually, sorry about that. I stagger, one hand between my knees, one hand on the outside, and I move over. Slowly, and I move over. I may go back the other way. Stagger, lift up. Surprisingly, these are much more difficult than they look. Some people it may be uncomfortable for your wrist. If anything hurts or is uncomfortable, skip it and move on. None of this stuff's a deal breaker. These are just things that I'm gonna do when I travel a lot. And if you do them all in a row, it takes about 10 minutes. So the next thing I like to do is I like to stand up, feet wide, and I do this thing I call the infinity stretch. And it looks like this. I've done another video on this, but it looks a lot like that. And that way I'm getting my legs, my inner thighs, my hips, my shoulder, my back all stretched out. I usually do 10, maybe even 20, count 20 rounds of that, and it works really, really well. The next thing I like to do is go back to the split squat, these things, but I pretend like I'm pulling, and I row backwards, and I come down, touch my knee, come back up, I row backwards. If you really want to make it interesting, you could take your towel, or a hotel towel or belt, anything, put it over your head, touch your knee, bring it down, come back up, come back up. You could do it at the top, but it gives you some type of pulling movement, and it's very easy to do. I like that. Of course, if you do one side, you want to do the other. Next, I may move just to strict push-ups, but I also may do a push-up, and then with my eyes, I look straight to the ceiling. Of course, if I do one side, I do the other. A push-up, you can obviously do push-ups from the knees, that's okay too. Any variation feels comfortable. If anything hurts, skip it, move on to something else. The last thing I like to do is what I call a tabletop, single arm tabletop bridge. I put both feet here, both knees, I'm flat on my feet. I put my fingers facing backwards, open my chest up, and I push my butt in the air and I reach. Same thing, I do about 5 to 10 on each side. So if you do one, you do the other. This one may be tough on some people's shoulders, so if it hurts too much, be careful with it, maybe skip it. The last thing I like to do is go for a walk. I walk hills, the steepest hills I can find, 2 or 3 days a week. I've done that for well over a year, and I've gotten great cardio benefits from it. I burn a lot of calories. I don't have to work that hard. People laugh when I say I walk the hills, but when I say I walk the hills, when I'm walking flat, I try to walk at a pretty good clip, pretty fast. When I get to the hill, I try to keep that same pace. It's very difficult when you're going up at a steep hill, but that's what increases your heart rate. I don't try to explode my heart, I just try to challenge it. It's like you stimulate the heart. You don't try to annihilate the heart because you want to be able to repeat it every few days. If you go out and you blast it, you run a bunch of sprints, or you swim to Alcatraz from San Francisco, your heart's probably going to explode and you won't be able to repeat that again for a while. So you want to do stuff that you can repeat over and over. Keep it simple. Think about middle gear. You got a low gear, middle gear, high gear. Low gear is good for days when you have low energy, you're a little tired. Middle gear is a great gear. High gear is those days, those rare days when you have a lot of energy, you feel like you can give it everything you got. But most days you want to be in that middle gear. Put the middle gear in, punch the clock, move on to another day and come back and revisit. Repeat this stuff often. So this stuff can work anytime, anywhere. Like I said, you could do rounds of what I just showed you today. You could do 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, however long you want to, whatever you feel up to. Don't make it too hard. If you made it this far in the video, I have 3 other videos on my YouTube page, Carlton Cullins, and on my website, blueskystrongbox.com, that I did 3 videos called Foundations. They're kind of long videos, a lot of information in it, but if you're planning on starting a journey, a big health or fitness journey this year, 2018, go and watch the videos. Write me if you have any questions. I'm always here to help. And if I don't get back to you within a few days, just be patient. I promise I'll get back to you within a week. I wish everybody the best. I'll see you next time.